mask on?
Do I not have the right to have a mask?
Absolutely, but what are you doing filming the bank?
Exactly what it seems like.
For what?
Is there not a First Amendment?
There is a First Amendment, but you've got people concerned, so I'm just asking what you're doing.
So my right to record as people concerned? So you enforce feelings?
No, I'm just asking what you're doing.
Why don't you enforce the law?
Get your hands out of your pockets.
Okay. It's pretty cold, so.
I understand.
I don't have gloves like you. So
you want some?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I like to have my hands in.
You got any ID on you?
Why would I need that?
I'm just wanting to find out who you are. You got a mask on. I can't see your face.
Exactly. We're in public.
You are. But you need to vacate in front of the bank.
And where am I at?
You're in Lake Ozark, Missouri.
Am I not on the public easement?
You are.
So why do I need to vacate the public sidewalk?
Because you've got people nervous and they want to know what you're doing.
Are you giving me a lawful order?
I am giving you a lawful order. You need to move the area.
Let me ask you this.
Young man, I'm not going to play this game with you.
You waive your qualified immunity.
I'm not going to play this game with you.
Waive your qualified immunity.
You need to step.
The video opens with a stunning display of ignorance from a veteran officer who, despite 3 decades on the job, still acts as if basic constitutional rights are optional. From the very first seconds, it's clear he approaches the situation with intimidation rather than professionalism, demanding answers the man is not legally required to give. Instead of recognizing that filming from a public easement is a protected First Amendment activity, he immediately tries to create suspicion where there is none. His gloves, his tone, and his stance all show that he's preparing for confrontation, not communication. This sets the stage for everything that follows. A clash between a citizen who knows his rights and an officer determined to override them.
You need to get stepping.
You
need to get to stepping.
I'm asking you to pull out your sergeant. I'm asking you to get your sergeant.
I don't have to get my sergeant.
Get Sergeant Myers.
I don't have to do that.
Get Sergeant Myers. I'm asking you to get a sergeant here. You don't know the law.
Yeah, I know the law.
You're a dangerous man.
29 years I've been doing it.
You got your gloves on? You ready to put your hands on me?
I'm not going to put my hands on you. My hands are on my vest.
You gave me an unlawful order to vacate when I'm on a public sidewalk.
You are on a public sidewalk.
So why would I need to leave?
I'm giving you a lawful order that you need to vacate in front of the area. Young man, I'm not. Yeah, you're free to go.
I'm free to stay. Thank you.
You need to vacate the area.
I'm not vacating.
Yeah, you are.
Nope.
You go with me then.
So you're gonna put your hands on me?
Oh, yeah, turn around.
I asked you to put. I asked you to get Sergeant Myers.
I'm not gonna put. I'm not getting Sergeant Myers. I've asked you to move.
I asked you to get Sergeant Myers.
I've asked you to move.
I asked you to get Sergeant Myers. You're gonna don't. You gonna? Hey, excuse me. He threw my phone down on
I sure did.
Guys. He threw my
I sure
phone
did.
On the ground, guys.
Yeah,
Threw my phone on the ground,
I sure did.
Why'd you do that? Can you get my phone, sir?
When the officer starts questioning the man's mask and camera, the hypocrisy becomes obvious. The citizen calmly asserts his right to record, yet the officer treats the camera as a threat, not a lawful tool for accountability. The idea that people are concerned magically transforms into justification for detaining someone is absurd, and it exposes how feelings often get weaponized in place of laws. Instead of addressing the actual concerns rationally, the cop escalates. He asks for ID without any crime being committed, relying purely on discomfort as a basis for authority. This early interaction highlights how intimidation replaces lawful procedure in far too many encounters.
I'm asking you, do you not want to get Sergeant Meyer out here?
No. Well, I'll take you to him.
Why not?
Even better, huh?
You're gonna unlawfully arrest me.
I'm not arresting you. I'm just detaining you.
Okay, for what crime? For what crime? For what crime? Don't turn my phone on. Don't turn my phone on. That is my First Amendment to record. Do not turn my phone on. Do not turn my phone on.
Boss,
do not.
It hasn't been recording since your phone was around.
Okay.
So how do I turn it off?
He turned my phone on.
How do I turn your phone off?
You threw it on the ground.
The screen won't stay off.
Exactly. You threw my phone on the ground.
Going up here, okay?
That's fine. I'm asking you to Sergeant Meyer out here. You're making a mistake.
What's your name?
I'm not telling you my name.
Well, you're failing to identify yourself, so
What
that's why you're getting
crime have I committed?
You're failing to identify
What is your
yourself.
reasonable articulable suspicion I committed a crime?
What ID or something?
What is your reasonable articulable suspicion?
Because you were failing to identify
What
yourself.
crime
out that I cited.
Yeah.
He's been...
By the time the officer orders the man to vacate the area, his lack of legal reasoning becomes impossible to ignore. Standing on a public sidewalk is not trespassing, nor is filming a bank from public property. Yet the officer insists on giving what he calls a lawful order, which is neither lawful nor justified. The man asks for articulation of the crime, and the officer repeatedly fails to provide any. Instead, he relies on tone and rank, hoping the intimidation will force compliance. This behavior shows how some officers lean on authority rather than the law, revealing how dangerous unchecked power can be.
So I know his name, I just can't think of it right now.
Gave him an awful order to move out in front of the bank. He's got people nervous, and he's failing to identify himself, so there's no reason. Now, he's been screaming and hollering for you anyway. Says he knows you. That's what he said. He won't take his mask down. He won't tell me who he is.
Is your body cam on?
It is.
Sergeant Meyer, what am I doing in?
You know his?
I'm familiar with him. I don't remember your name right off my head, but...
What am I doing in cuffs?
Well, he detained you for his investigation.
He couldn't tell me what crime I committed.
You failed to comply with a lawful order. I done told you. I told you to get moving, and I told you to identify yourself.
What crime have I committed?
I just told you.
Before you were here on the scene, what crime have I committed?
None.
Okay, so why do I have to ID myself?
Because I gave you a lawful order to do so, because I'm investigating on why you're standing out here in front.
You cannot articulate what crime I committed.
All right.
Hang on, let me get the...
You can't articulate what crime I committed.
Once you tell me who you are, you're going.
As the confrontation escalates, the officer becomes visibly irritated by the citizen's calm insistence on clarity and lawfulness. The demand for ID becomes his main focus, even though the man has no legal obligation to identify himself unless he's suspected of committing a crime. The cop's frustration grows because he can't articulate one. Instead of de-escalating, he chooses force, grabbing the man, throwing his phone, and placing him in cuffs. The casualness with which he admits throwing the phone exposes a complete disregard for personal property and the First Amendment. This moment is the clearest example so far of power being abused in plain sight.
I can figure his name out.
Because what he was doing, he was standing here, he wasn't breaking any laws by being on the sidewalk. And I asked him, I said, hey, you've got people in here nervous, would you mind stepping down the road for me? He goes, am I on a public easement? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, why is your fucking gloves on? I said, I wear them all the time when I deal with people. And he goes, well, I ain't fucking moving. I said, I'm giving you an order to get to stepping and identify yourself and pull your mask down. Fuck you, I ain't gonna do that either. I said, okay, if you're not gonna identify yourself, you're going back in my car until you identify yourself. But he wasn't breaking any laws. He's allowed to film all day long.
Did they ever tell him to leave or anything? Or was he ever on?
They're saying he was on the grass. Wolf's double checking, because if he was on this portion of the grass, that's technically theirs. That portion's not. Like I said, when I got here, he was standing on the sidewalk filming, which he's allowed to do. But he says he knows you.
Well, he's done some video requests before. I know I can get his name. I know that. We have him in.
When backup arrives, the situation becomes even more revealing. The officer justifies his behavior by claiming the man failed to identify, ignoring the fact that failure to ID is not a crime unless tied to a lawful detainment. He tells his fellow officers that people were nervous, using vague emotional complaints as the foundation for his actions. Then, in front of his partners, he openly admits the man was not breaking any laws by filming on the sidewalk. This admission alone destroys the justification for the detainment, yet he continues defending his actions. It shows how officers sometimes create narratives on the fly, rather than follow constitutional principles.
Reporter to you. I just can't think of it right off my head.
Wolf did a traffic stop on him here a while back.
Yeah.
But he's trying to find his name and he can't find it. Of course he locked it. Once he tells me his name, he's free to go.
I've got his name. As long if there's no crime from on their end, then
Okay. I'll wait for Wolf to come back, and then.
we probably need to want to know if they're going to want to trespass him from here.
But I'm not going to play the game coming back every 20 minutes either.
Well, if he ain't on their property, then he's not trespassing.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying.
I mean, on their end before we kick him.
This officer has lied to me in your face, and he is a body cam and on footage. I did not curse him that way. I did not curse him at all. He said I said fuck you, and I did not curse him at all. He's going.
That might just be.
While discussing the incident with the sergeant, the officer tries to rewrite the story to protect himself, claiming he gave a lawful order and the man disobeyed. But he again fails to name a crime when asked. Instead, he complains about the man's attitude, his mask, and even his refusal to lower it. None of these things are illegal. The officer's frustration reveals that he wasn't enforcing law, but enforcing his own comfort level. The sergeant, meanwhile, listens but fails to correct the officer's misunderstanding, showing how internal accountability often fails when it matters most. This moment is a powerful reminder of how systemic issues persist.
I always talk like
Sir,
that.
I did not curse at you.
I always talk like that.
But
But,
you-
regardless,
but
I
if
gave
you-
you it. I'm not gonna.
translate-
We're not gonna overtalk each other.
If you're
let me talk to him.
translating
We're not
to
gonna overtalk over each other.
Let me talk to him.
translating to the sergeant. I did not say that. I said.
They're not going to do anything about it. They don't want him trespassed or anything.
Then why did they call?
I don't know. They said that they had customers coming in and coming to the drive-thru, coming on the call lines, saying that they felt unsafe and that he.
Yeah, he didn't break any laws because he was on the sidewalk.
Right, and saying that they were he was pointing at them, harassing them, and just doing all sorts of things, just basically pointing a camera and pointing at them.
Oh, okay.
So he hasn't done anything aside from not identifying.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Okay.
But
Well, as soon as Meyer gets done, I'll cut him loose and we'll just play the game every 20 minutes.
During the investigation, the officers admit among themselves that no crime took place, yet the man remains in cuffs. The officer even relays irrelevant complaints from bank customers, such as pointing or filming, which are not criminal actions. The sergeant acknowledges the man was legally on the sidewalk, and yet they hold him until they can confirm his identity, again, without legal basis. Keeping someone handcuffed after confirming no crime occurred is a direct violation of constitutional rights. This section of the footage highlights how easily detainment can become unlawful when police rely on ego instead of law.
We'll be back dealing with him.
We're making sure there's no criminal offense that was committed before we got here at the bank.
And there wasn't, so
They called us.
But he put me in cuffs
That's a
because I
detainment.
was not moving.
That's a detainment. He had an investigation to do
I'm
here at the
telling you,
bank.
y'all messed up. Y'all messed up extremely bad.
You always say that to us.
I've not always said it to you. I've only had one interaction with you.
But every time we've dealt with you, it's always us.
It is y'all. Officer Clayton Wolf does not know the law. He asked me where'd I get my law book from. I said I don't have to identify myself if I'm a passenger in the vehicle. He tried to fabricate probable cause by saying I didn't have my seatbelt on when I in fact did on camera.
Okay,
So
but look.
he couldn't get my ID and identify me, so he doesn't know my name. Now you don't know my name because you don't remember the public record request that I submitted.
I just don't remember right off the top of my head.
He doesn't know my name because I.
The detained man calmly exposes the history of his interactions with the department, noting how earlier officers attempted to fabricate reasons to ID him. His previous experiences show a pattern. Officers repeatedly use minor excuses or invented suspicions to force identification despite lacking probable cause. The officer in this case clearly tries to continue that pattern, hoping persistence will override legality. The fact that the man remains calm, informed, and articulate during the entire ordeal makes the officer's aggression stand out even more. It becomes undeniable that this detainment is retaliatory, not investigative.